Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Adam Ratliff with Adam's So Fun, and you are here for the ASF Summer QAL 2023 from the Quilt Along. Yay, we're finally doing it. It is July 14th. 2023, we're starting, but if you don't have time for this, that's fine. Get to it whenever you get to it because there's always time. We are featuring Pop Goes Your Scrap Bin. This pattern is from Eva Page Quilts. My friend Beth Helfter invented the accordion sewn half square triangle method, trademarked. And I figured, hey, let's, ooh, my machine went to sleep. I figured let's feature that because it's a different way to make half square triangles. For you scrappy quilters, you're gonna be in love. For you non-scrappy quilters, you're gonna be stressed out. Believe me, I know, I'm not a scrappy quilter. But I grabbed the bulls by the horn. Is that what you say? The bulls by the horn? Grab the bull by... Sure, I hope I said it right, but whatever. I jumped in because I'm always telling you all to get out of your comfort zone. So I am getting out of my comfort zone. So before we jump into it, remember, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you're notified when new videos drop. You can see the new videos from the Pop Goes Your Scrap Bin and everything else I do. I try to put videos out all the time. Whatever. Also, go follow Beth, and I will link all of the important things below, but Beth does have YouTube videos, a series on how to do her accordion sewn half square triangle method. I hope I'm saying that right. HST. Oh, I think it's actually accordion sewn HST. I don't know, whatever, they're the same thing. Her videos will teach you how to do it. So make sure you go reference those. On page 14 of your instructions, when you purchase a pattern, it also tells you how to do it. You can get some laminated sheets from her that will teach you how to do it. So there's a lot of information, there's a lot of ways to find out how to do it. I'm not gonna teach that, it's her thing, and she already has videos out there, so why recreate the wheel? Also, is that what they say? It's gonna be one of those days. So we're gonna split this up. We're gonna give you, let's see, it is the 14th. So we're gonna give you a week to do your accordions and make your half square triangles. Do your piecing, get all your pieces done. And then we're gonna give you another week to actually piece the top. The top is not huge. This is it behind me. I've got most of the pieces done. I'm making my accordions now. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then, so you get 2 weeks to make the top. It's 36 by 36, not anything hard. I think this is a great top to do because it's not hard. If you want to make it bigger, you can. And then we're gonna get in and we're gonna custom quilt this baby. For those of you with Pro Stitcher, I'm gonna show you how to do it with Pro Stitcher. If you don't have a Pro Stitcher, I'm gonna show you how to do it without Pro Stitcher. So it's the way I always teach. For some of you, you're gonna be like, well, I have Pro Stitcher, but I wanna practice free motion. Whatever, you get to quilt it however you want. You don't even have to use my quilting path. But I have designed a fantastic quilting. I'm so stupid. But I have designed a quilting, I have a quilting idea in mind. It's what I worked on the cruise. So, a few things. In the pattern, we do have to make some square and square blocks. The directions are not in the pattern, unless I didn't see them on how to create these. It's stitch and flip. You're gonna stitch corner to corner, but we're gonna go over that. I'm gonna go over that in the on the machine so you can see exactly how it's done, and then you won't have any confusion. So there are there's only 4 of them. They're not hard, and I have to say, mine came out pretty nice. Usually mine come out wonky as sin, but usually mine come out pretty wonky, but they look pretty good here. You're also gonna make some accordions, and this is where the scrappiness of Beth's method is fantastic, because you're not gonna have any half square triangle block that is the same as another. Because usually, if we're making half square triangles, I have my 2 squares, we put them together, we mark a line, sew on one side, sew on the other side, cut it in half, and now we have 2 half square triangles, but they're the exact same. With the accordion method, this is what we're making. We're making what Beth calls accordions, and then when you finish this and you cut these apart, no half square triangle is the same as another, unless you just happen to randomly get those same fabrics. I'm using, let's see, I think I have 12 yellows, or there's 12 of color 1, maybe 10 of color 2, 6 of the background, and maybe 10 of the pop color. So I didn't get all 24. I gave my stash away to my mother in December, so I used what I did. But we're creating these like funky, what we're gonna call accordions. So in the pattern, very important, please read the pattern. Please read the pattern first. When you're making the accordions, go watch Beth's video, read the instructions on page 14 on how to make the accordions. And when you jump over to page 3, on page 3, it will tell you, you get this little box here, and that box is going to say color 1, color 2, background, and your popper color, because you only need 4. Put a little piece of fabric or write the name of what you're using color-wise in those boxes so you know. I wrote it somewhere else because I have a weird writing on patterns. I don't like that. But it is here. And could I print out another page? Definitely. I just wrote it somewhere else. But this is going to be your best friend back for reference. When you get to the part where you're making the accordions on page 4, so at the bottom of page 4, you're going to see this. And it's a bunch of blocks, or it's like a bunch of rectangles. Well, in that, it actually says, let's see, order of accordions are shown in blocks rather than pointy-topped accordions. Easier to make a pattern that doesn't have a bunch of little points. So this is going to be your order. This is where the importance of having the pattern is. Beth has already calculated these accordions out and how you need to stitch them so you get the correct number of, you know, color 1 versus color 2, or color 1 in background, color 1 in your popper color, and vice versa for all of your different arrangements. So you're going to make a total of 3 different accordions in here, so make sure you read this, because let's see, the first one's going to be your 2 colors. That's fine. You're going to be color 1, color 2. But accordion 2 and accordion 3, and I know you're probably like confused, but you'll note if you look at page 5, you'll understand what I'm talking about. You're going to use background colors, or you're going to use all 4 of the colors in accordions 2 and 3, and then also look at the directions where it says repeat this 3 times or repeat this 5 times. So she gives you the order, and then you're going to repeat that order. And ultimately, you're going to have a big long accordion, a smaller accordion, and then this one's not done, but your color 1 and color 2 accordion. Again, read the directions, understand what they say. When you have your accordions done here, at some point it says tube it up. And when we tube it up, what we're doing is we're taking the 2 sides, and then we're going to sew those together so we get a full tube. And basically what you're making is you're making a fancy bracelet. You get points if you put your bracelets on, take some pictures, and post them and tag me. And don't forget to tag Eva Page Quilts. Yeah, let's trend it. We're trending accordion sewn half square triangles. But I'm going to show you this part because when I first made my very first accordion back in the day, this part was the most confusing part. It is not hard. It's stitch and flip and add a piece and stitch and flip. Again, go watch Beth's videos. They are great, and then you'll kind of understand what you're doing. Now, I had posted a picture of my accordions, and I've been singing Roll Out the Barrel all day. Roll out the barrel. Okay, that's it. So I've been singing that all day because I've been making accordions, and long story short, at one point in my life I did musical theater and I played an accordion while roller skating around in a flamenco dress. There you have it. But I played Roll Out the Barrel. I don't know how to play accordion, and yeah, it worked. But I forgot what I was talking about. Welcome to the channel for those of you who are new. Oh, when I was making the accordion, so I made both of these at the same time, and these are the 2 accordions that I probably shouldn't have done that because there's a pattern. You have to follow the pattern. Make sure you look at the pattern on page 5. Follow the pattern. And so what I was doing is I would stitch one, stitch the next one, and then I would cut this one off and get its next piece. I was very, very careful not to mix up my stacks. So if you're gonna do that, if you wanna kind of chain these and keep adding and adding as you go, I would suggest maybe on the first piece that you have that's gonna be, because you're gonna have 2 pieces to make your first piece, but whatever is first in the sequence, maybe put a pin and write number 1 or something so you know that that is where you started, and maybe it's number 1 group 1, and then you have your, or number 1 stack 1, and you have stack 1, stack 2, and stack 3, because you are gonna do 3 total accordions. I only have 2 of the accordions finished. Again, I wanted to show you the tube it up at the end, but also I wanted to show you like adding a piece or 2 onto an accordion just so you can see it here. But really, go watch Beth's videos because they are fantastic. So I'm trying to think, other things that I'm working with. I am using, and you're gonna see this when I bring you around, this little roll of tape. This is called diagonal seam tape. It is from Cluck Cluck Sew. Oh my gosh, such a great invention. I know Beth uses her diagonal liney thing. I can't think of what it's called, but I'll link it down there. But this tape goes on the bed of your machine, and it's just like a washi tape. My machine keeps going to sleep. And it gives me my lines that I can just line up my corners with. Because we're going to trim these down. So this is one of my favorite tools. We're also going to be having to trim these up. We're making them bigger so we can trim them down. These are the slotted trimmers, the clearly perfect slotted trimmers. I actually know where both of them are because I usually can only find one at a time. But they do come in a set, a 2-piece set. You get your 1/2 inches and your full inch. We're going to be using the 3.5 inch section on this, and this is going to cut off our dog ears and trim to 3.5 inches at the same time. So I am going to be using my clearly perfect slotted trimmers. Some of you might like your bloc-locs. You could use bloc-locs. You can press these open and then go back and bloc-loc them. Whatever you want to do, whatever method trimming half square triangles that you like to do is the perfect one. Use it for you. But this is another one, and I'll link these and bloc-locs down below. Other things that I'm missing. I think that's it. Oh my gosh. I'm very excited. My wall is looking great, and I hung all this stuff up. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to get this done. I'm very excited for the quilting process. Oh, for the quilting process, if you really want your quilting to stand out, get yourself some puffy batting. I will be using a layer of just Quilter's Dream Poly, and I'm also going to use a Quilter's Dream Poly Puff. It's a nice, fat, puffy batting that works and acts like wool, but it's poly price. So there you have it. It's a 36 by 36 wall hanging. I will oftentimes use poly in those because I'm not going to be under it to get me too hot. We can't use polyester batting here in Palm Springs because right now it is 105 degrees. I would die. So I'm going to bring you around. We're going to talk about closing up these tubes. We're going to make some square and a square blocks. And I'm going to show you just adding a few blocks onto our accordion, just so you can see it. But again, go look at Beth's stuff. Is there anything else that I'm missing? I just love it. My quilt is going to be called Strawberry Lemonade because of the colors. The blue is the ice. Thank you for whoever gave me that comment. All right, we'll bring you around. All right, so you're gonna have these square and a square blocks that we need to create, and you're gonna have your accent fabric, and then you're gonna have your, I think it's color 2, but I'm not really sure. So I have my square, I have my other square. I'm gonna line up the corners. I'll do it down here. Let's see, where can you see it the best? We'll do it like this way. So I'm gonna line up my corners, right sides together, always. And it doesn't, well, it should kind of be perfect, but you know me, I'm not perfect. So now I'm going to stitch from corner to corner. That's where my diagonal seam tape comes into play. Let me bring this down. I do have my, I'm using my Janome M7, my Janome Continental M7. I do have my AccuFlex foot, and I have my HP plate with my HP AccuFlex foot. So, let's see, stitch over, and I think my stitch length is like 1.9. That's usually my go-to. So what I want to do is I'm going to put this corner up at my needle. There we are. And with this diagonal seam tape, I can pivot this around so that the corner is also on my red line, because if I pull this out, you'll see my red line is in line with my needle, and you can't see that really great, but I'll take a picture and insert it. So there we are, and now I'm just going to stitch. We are stitching bias because we're stitching on the diagonal, so I'm not going to pull my fabric because then it's going to distort stuff. So I'm just going to stitch. So I've stitched across my block. Now, if this were me in real life, I would grab my next block and stitch my next one, and that's how I did it. But since it's not real life and I'm showing you how to do this, we're going to do one. And where are my scissors? Cut that off. All right, so one side is done. When I do one side, I'm going to pop over and do the other side as well. So I'm going to put this one on. Same thing. Put that one on, and no leader this time. We're just going to go for it, and we'll stitch. There we have it. So I would do that to all 4 blocks, and then we're going to go and we're going to trim this. So I'm going to pivot you over, even though you know how to trim. All right, so now I'm on my trimming station, and I just want to trim 1/4 inch from my seam. So I'm going to line up my ruler and trim this extra off. Save this. You can take these triangles, stitch them, and then you have a bunch of extra half square triangles. So now I have a block that looks like this. This goes to my iron, and then we're going to go and press it. The block has been trimmed. Now it's time to press. So this is how I press them. I usually hit it with some steam and just press my pieces out. And now I can go in and add my other corners, which we'll do right now. So now my block is pressed. We're back at the machine, and now I'm going to add my other sides, and I'm going to do the same exact thing. The only difference is now we're pressing over a seam at the beginning and at the end. There we are. Put down, line up, and you'll see everything's in line, the foot and the red line. And I would, again, chain these. I would keep them all connected and just cut them off whenever I'm ready. One other thing I did when I was making these is I grouped my backgrounds in sets of 4. So I knew that there was nothing in those background fabrics that was going to repeat on the same block. Because I can go scrappy, but I have to be somewhat not scrappy. So here's our block. I go and trim and press, and then you have your beautiful square and a square block. So that's how you make a square and a square block. They're not hard, but if you've never done one before, I wanted to make sure you knew what you were doing. So let's get to these accordions. So this is my accordion 1, and this is the, let's see, that's where I started. So this is accordion 1. This is the last piece I added, and I know because nothing's folded back yet. So whenever I add my next piece, I'm going to unfold this. It's a yellow that I have, so I'm going to add a pink. And the bulkiness of the accordion starts to kind of get in the way. And I don't want to stretch things, so I like to line up one corner. We'll try to do it right here so you can see. So I'm going to line up that first corner. And then I can pivot things around as needed and get my corners as lined up as I can. Remember, we're going to trim this, so it's okay if it's not perfect. Come in. We're sewing 1/4 inch. You can draw your line if you want. I'm using the seam tape instead of drawing the line. And I'm just adding my next piece. And then I would continue that process to make my whole accordion, which you're gonna get something that looks like this. So to tube it up, we need to add piece 1 to whatever the last piece is. So we're gonna fold them together, making sure everything is pulled off to the right. You don't want any extra fabric. It's kind of backlit. We don't want any of these flaps to the left because then you're gonna sew them down. So we wanna make sure everything is pulled over to the right or the left. I was told that I sew them upside down and backwards from the way Beth does. I think she does her accordions off to the left, but I keep mine off to the right. So it's totally up to you how you do it. I want to get those corners as close as I can. So that one's good. Maneuver, maneuver, maneuver. There we are. And this is why I'm showing you this step, because it gets a little funky. Because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. And then it's just like every other seam you sewed. I'm going to line up my lines. I'm not lining up on the red line with this tape. I'm on my black line to the right because I'm want the needle a 1/4 inch away. And we're going to take that last one. This one's longer. So this is the longer accordion, so it's going to be easier to tube up because things are farther away. But some of you are going to fall in love with this method of creating half square triangles, and you're going to start using it all the time. And I actually do use this a lot. Again, half square triangles aren't my best friend, just because there's a lot of work to them, because I like to trim them up. So I'm going to close this edge. I lined those 2 pieces up, and now I'm just sewing that 1/4 inch. Cut. And now I should have 2 bracelets and the accordion that's not finished. So when I mean well, I can't get my hand into that bracelet. That's too small. But this one, look at this. Oh my gosh. So that is sewing your accordions. Once your accordions are sewn, we're going to come in. We're going to trim between each accordion. And the first one I do with scissors because you can't really use a rotary. So let me just grab some scissors. Oh my gosh. The moment of truth. So I'm going to make sure that I'm not cutting any fabric. Oh, I don't want to trim that one. I want to take a bracelet picture. So I'm making sure everything is folded away. I don't want to cut any of my fabric on accident. And we're going to trim. And these are very tight 1/4 inches because I did a super scant. This will open up our accordion. And then now I can pull 2 over and trim off every half square triangle. And then go and do my trimming with the Clearly Perfect slotted trimmers. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to cut these apart. Next week we will trim them, press them, and finish our back. Alright everyone, so this week we are making our accordions. You're making your bracelets. Remember, I want to see some bracelet photos. We are going to make our square and square blocks, and we're cutting all of our fabrics out. You can lay yours out so you can see how beautiful it's going to be, even though you don't have your half square triangles in there yet. Once you have your accordions and done and tubed, and you get your bracelet photo that you post, then we're going to cut these apart. And if you want to go ahead and press and trim and finish your tops, you can, but don't feel rushed, because next week we are going to cut the we're going to trim, and it will show you how to use the Clearly Perfect slotted trimmers, and I will show you with the bloc-locs too if you are a bloc-loc fan, but show you how to do this. We will piece our top, and then the week after that we'll load it up and get to quilting. If there's anything that I talked about, they will have links below in the description. So if you are looking for the slotted trimmers or bloc-locs or the diagonal seam tape from Cluck Cluck Sew, all of that. I've got to get going because I still have one more accordion to make. So you might see 2 bracelets on, but I'm going to finish this accordion, get my stuff sewn, and we will see you back here next week. Remember, don't forget to go check out those videos. Again, Eva Page Quilts. They are linked below to teach you how to do the accordions. If you're just falling into this for the first time, go check out the pattern. Code ASF10 will save you 20% off the Pop Goes Your Scrap Bin over at Eva Page Quilts, and also will save you 20% off of her books. Her books are great because you get a lot of patterns. I love this method so much. I think Beth, I don't know how she thought of it, but she said like it took her 5 minutes. So, whatever. And she's continually changing it up, which is what I really like because there's always something new. And she's pushing the boundaries of the half square triangles. So yeah, go check that out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos drop. If you're on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, follow me, Adam So Fun with an S-E-W on all social media platforms. If you have questions, put them below, send me a message, send me an email. Everything is Adam So Fun. We will get all of your questions answered, especially if it has something to pertain to me with this. Thanks for doing it. Hashtag ASF Summer QAL 2023 if you are joining along. And for those of you who join along and put the quilt into a quilt show, send me a picture of it hanging. I saw so many quilts from the December quilt along from 2022 last year. No, 2021. The summer quilt along? The December Diamonds quilt, whenever that one was. I saw them at shows throughout the year. I loved it. Some of you had ribbons. It was my favorite thing in life. So we will see you in the next one. Happy quilting, y'all. And hey, at the end of the day, it's just a quilt. If your blocks aren't perfect, who cares? We'll see you all later.